So we are officially less than 1 week away from Apple announcing their iPhone 14 lineup, but Apple's doing something that they've actually never done before with their iPhone lineup. And no, it's not that new cutout, pill and hole punch design that we should be getting with the iPhone 14 Pros, but this one is a little bit more interesting in a negative way. So, without further ado, let's talk about what Apple's doing to their iPhone 14 lineup. So just a quick refresher for everybody when it comes to the iPhone lineups. So Apple first introduced the Pro lineup of iPhones back with the iPhone 11. They separated the iPhone 11 with the 11 Pro and the 11 Pro Max. And they've kept this iteration of their lineup moving forward. So then we got the 12s and the 12 Pros and then the 13 Pros, and this year is going to be no different. But it seems that as every year went by, Apple kind of separated the Pro and the non-Pro models a little bit more every single time. So for instance, with the 11 and the 11 Pro, the first thing we got was an upgraded camera. So we had the triple camera array versus the double camera array. Then with the iPhone 12s, it followed that same design language, but this time we got the squared off edges. The entire lineup got the squared off edges, but on the Pro side, everything was just a little bit more premium with stainless steel. Everything was with a chrome finish, a little bit more subtle on the colors, so and you could differentiate between the Pro and the non-Pro models. And then with the 13, again, we still had the triple camera array versus the double camera array on the Pro versus non-Pro, but then we also got Pro Motion on the iPhone 13 Pros, which is a much needed upgrade for that 120Hz display that everybody on the Android world has had for such a long time. But now this year, Apple's doing something which they've never done before. So traditionally, whenever Apple releases a new lineup of phones, it comes with an upgrade to their chipset across the entire lineup, whether it is a regular iPhone or a Pro iPhone. So with the 13 and the 13 Pros, the entire lineup got the A15 chip. Then with the iPhone 12 lineup, both the Pros and non-Pros, we got the A14, and it continues down with the A13, A12, A11. So all of those chipsets were spread across the entire lineup of iPhones. But this year, it's actually going to be a little bit different. So with this iPhone 14 lineup of phones that we're getting, just to reiterate, we will be getting rid of the iPhone 14 mini lineup, so the 14 mini will not exist. It's still yet to be seen if Apple's going to continue to allow us to buy the 13 mini brand new, or even the 12 mini, because right now you can actually buy the 12 mini directly from Apple. Let's see if Apple keeps that one in their lineup. I hope they do, because it seems like people do want the mini, just not enough for Apple to keep it in their most, improved lineup. But instead of the mini, we're actually going to be getting a 14 Max. So normally, if you wanted to get the biggest and baddest screen real estate and biggest and baddest phone, you needed to go into the Pro lineup in order to get the biggest phone at that 6.7 inches. But this upcoming year with September 7th and the iPhone 14, we'll be getting an iPhone 14 and then an iPhone 14 Max, and then also we'll be getting an iPhone 14 Pro and then the Pro Max. So we'll be getting both a 6.7 inch screen on the regular iPhone and on the Pro lineup of iPhones. But like I keep saying, this year will be the first time that Apple does not upgrade the chipset across all 4 iPhones. So it looks like the regular 14 iPhones will be getting the same A15 chip which the iPhone 13s have, and then the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max will be getting the new A16 chip. So this is going to put buyers in a weird predicament, because what's going to be new about the iPhone 14, at least the regular, right? Again, Apple doesn't really create these iPhones for the person that's upgrading every single year. They're creating these iPhones for the people that upgrade every 3 to 5 years. So yes, if you have an iPhone 8, then the iPhone 14 will be a great upgrade. But then you also think to yourself, should you just get an iPhone 13? So unless you really want the iPhone 14 Max in that bigger display size, but still with the A15 chip and the dual camera sensors and things like that, then okay, go for that if you want the max size. But if you're just looking for the regular iPhone 14, I don't know why you would go with the 14 unless there's a specific color that the iPhone 13 doesn't come in. But that's just something to keep in mind as we move down into this release to see what Apple's going to do with the iPhone 14 lineup to at least differentiate it a little bit from the iPhone 13 lineup. But then in terms of what to expect from a performance standpoint on the A16 versus the A15, and I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you from the iPhone numbers and then also the chipset numbers, but again, it's just kind of how Apple names everything, and we're gonna have to deal with that. But when it comes to performance on the A16, since we're keeping the same nanometer process, so this is built on a 5 nanometer process, it's gonna only have about a 10 to 15% increase in performance, which is the same increase we saw between the 11 and the 12. And then Apple went to the 5 nanometer process with the 13, which made things a little bit snappier, a little bit quicker. So we will be getting probably a 3 nanometer process for the next iPhones. So these will be the iPhone 15s. Again, that'll be next year, so we'll worry about that one when it comes. But for this year, we will have basically the same 5 nanometer chip, just probably increases in efficiency, increases in battery performance, and again, just overall performance updates of about 10 to 15%. So I just wanted to make this quick video to point out that difference, that Apple will be segregating the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 14 Pro lineup based on chipset. So probably more incentive for people to buy the higher end, more expensive Pro models with the triple camera array. You know, there's rumors and leaks that we're gonna get a 48 megapixel ultra wide on the Pro lineup of phones. And I'm sure the finishes will be a little bit nicer, you know, with stainless steel and things like that. But I'm excited to see what Apple does, and I'm curious to see how Apple sells it to us. Is it going to be a situation where they're just going to talk about cameras for like 70% of the keynote? Or will there be something a little bit more on the hardware side that Apple can really show us from a feature set that the iPhone 13s couldn't do? Because the iPhone 13 Pro lineup, for me, obviously it's the best iPhone to ever come out in terms of actual performance, and it does everything that I throw at it. But let's see what the iPhone 14 Pro can do, and if it's going to be a viable upgrade over the 13 Pro. My initial instinct is to say, no, it's not going to be worth it. So unless you are that person that upgrades every single year, I say hold off, but let's see when we get those in the studio. But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, leave a little dolphin in the comments down below so I know that you made it to the very end. And also let me know in the comments down below, will you be upgrading? Which phone will you be upgrading to? Which phone are you upgrading from? Because that's the biggest thing. If you're coming from a 6, 6S, 7, or 8, and you're upgrading to these 14s, those performance gains are going to be out of this world. I really wish I could go back to those days where I was upgrading every 4 to 5 years, because that's where you see substantial upgrades. And that's pretty much what I do with my Apple Watch. Every 5 years I upgrade my Apple Watch, and then you really start to see the difference. But if you start to iterate and upgrade every single year, you're not going to see too much of it, because again, it's all about recency bias and what you have in front of you at the moment. And when you're only getting 10 to 50% upgrades, you're not going to see that much of a real world difference. But that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and stay subscribed because we will be covering everything related to Apple's keynote. But if you guys want to watch some more videos and some more rumors, click on one of these videos right here. But until next time, I'm Fernando, and I'm out of here. Peace.